Masterclass all about managing your energy. I'm so excited to have you here today because learning about your energy system is something I'm very passionate about. So many of my clients have come to me feeling very drained, very burnt out, and just really quite depleted. So, over the last few years, I've really come to understand what can put such a strain on someone's personal energy system, but ultimately what can really replenish it, invigorate it, and what can you do to really learn how to maximize it to its highest potential. Now, there is a quote that has always resonated with me, and I'd like to share it with you. And that is, the purpose of life is to enjoy the passage of time. Now, when I hear that quote, what comes up for me is that we really, really need energy and vitality to enjoy what it is that we're doing with our time. So that's why I thought just doing a masterclass on it today would be really, really helpful. And I'm very excited because we have Dr. Tamara Whiston here with us today, and she's going to be tackling things all to do with your physical energy. So I'm really, really excited. Now, just a word to begin with. Today is really a master class. So it's going to be me, your coach, leading you through all things emotional energy. And then Dr. Tamara is going to come on and speak all about the physical energy. So it's not necessarily in a kind of workshop setting with a lot of engagement and interaction. It really is a class. So I would advise you to maybe remove all your kind of distractions, make a cup of tea or coffee, have a notebook, have a pen, and really try and give this your attention. I really hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you learn a lot. I'm very excited to hear your thoughts and your feedback. So let's get into it. Great. So today you are going to be learning why your personal energy management is so important. And what are the two main types of personal energy? We have your physical and your emotional energy. We're going to be looking at what can really drain your emotional and mental energy, as well as what can put a strain on your physical energy. But above all, what are the key techniques, practices, and things that you can implement to really give you some more energy? And this is just a quote that I love. A man doesn't need brilliance or genius. All he needs is energy. Okay, so what is personal energy and why is it so important? Your personal energy, I like to look at it as your kind of battery level. So let's say you have your phone next to you. Is your phone on 10% and is it glitching and wanting to shut down on you? Or is it at 100%, it's green, it's running smoothly? I like to look at that as your kind of personal energy system. Whether you're making a cup of coffee and getting out of bed, or whether you're starting a new business and planning to do a master's program, you need energy and vitality to do both of those things. That's why it's so important that we learn what can influence our personal energy system and how can we make the most of it and use it to our personal advantage. And I'm very excited because we have Dr. Tamara Whiston here today. She is such an expert. She studied in the Czech Republic and she practiced in traditional medicine, specifically oncology in Trinidad. And she's now working as a functional medicine practitioner in London, England. She sees a lot of her clients online and she specifically loves to work with women who have been diagnosed recently with an autoimmune disorder or illness and really show them and guide them on reclaiming their health. So I'm very excited that we have her here today. Okay, so this is my personal section. I'm going to be going through your emotional energy. So many experts in the field of energy can agree that most of our energy, about 70%, is actually emotional, not physical, which really makes sense from an evolutionary point of view. Feelings such as worry, fear, stress, they all take over as opposed to feelings of calm, peace, happiness to keep us surviving, to keep us alert, to keep us there. But obviously that means that our emotional brain has so much power and influence, and it influences our decision making, it influences our behavior, it really influences so much. So these are the 4 key aspects and themes that I have seen time and time again that put such a strain on someone's personal energy system, their emotional energy. Being out of alignment with personal values, people pleasing and having a lack of boundaries, poor time management, and really overthinking. So up first, we have values. Now, you're probably looking at the screen and you're thinking, Ciara, I have no idea what my values are. I don't even know what values are. That's fine. Don't worry. Values are essentially just certain themes or certain kind of areas that are of real importance to you. They're kind of like guiding lights, so to speak. So I have just put for today's example these: relationships, meaningful work, wellness, fun, financial stability. Yours may be totally different, or maybe they're very similar. But I want you to just think, what are some things that are so important to you in your life, in this lifetime right now? And ask yourself, how well are each of these values actually being lived by me? Am I engaging in activities that are in alignment with what's most important to me? Or am I doing things that are completely opposite? When it comes to our values, when we're living out of alignment with them, it's really, really draining because we are going against who we really are and what matters most to us. So when we're in alignment, everything fits, everything feels fulfilled, we feel connected, we feel happy, we feel energized. But once that alignment is skewed and once we're kind of doing things that are against who we really are, I want you to imagine it as almost swimming against the current. It's not only very demotivating and, quite frankly, upsetting and sad, it's also incredibly draining because we're fighting against who we really are and what is most important to us. So this is just another example of it in a wheel. If you'd like to maybe just pause and write down a couple of things that are really important to you and give a numerical value of 1 to 10. How well are you actually living that value? So let's say fun and recreation is something so important to you. Ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is my kind of fun and recreational level like right now? Is it a 5 out of 10? Is it a 3? Is it an 8? You get the picture. So maybe take a pause and see if you can do that now. Okay, up next, overthinking and decision making. Now, I know that so many of you here today have probably overthought something, whether that's in the last hour or the last week, and that is confirmed by the statistic you see on the screen. The problem with overthinking is that it means you're so much less likely to take action. And overthinking puts so much of a strain on our energy system. Because overthinking is just creating all of these different scenarios and all of these different options in your head. And you're really using a lot of energy to do that, but it's not going towards anything productive because you're taking up a lot of mental space as opposed to actually acting on it. We kind of become in this situation, analysis paralysis, when there's so many things to do or think about, it deems us unable to take action. Also, if we're overthinking and stressing ourselves out, we're releasing and producing so much cortisol. And when that happens over a prolonged period of time, it can be very depleting and it can really cause burnout. But there is a silver lining. The solution to overthinking is really getting clarity, creating solutions, and above all, taking action. So if there's a situation you have ahead of you and you find yourself overthinking a lot, I want you to just ask yourself these questions. And maybe now would be a good time to just take a screenshot of these. So asking yourself, what would I like to see happen? What needs to happen in order to achieve this? What's actually in my control and what is out of my control? And what support might I actually need at this time? Up next, we have people pleasing. And I have been a major people pleaser in the past. So I'm going to read out a couple of kind of tendencies a people pleaser may have. And I want you to just reflect and see if any of these resonate with you. Up first, we have a strong need to be liked by others, and we try and earn it by helping or pleasing. Maybe you find yourself needing reassurance from others. Possibly you find it very difficult to express your own needs and do that in a direct way. And then on top of that, you might be worried that if you express your needs, it'll drive other people away. But above all, you have a sense of maybe resentment and you feel a bit taken for granted. But that again is also very difficult for you to express. Now, having struggled with this in the past, there's so many different things that I've done to really help navigate and really mitigate people-pleasing tendencies. But the biggest thing that really helped me was the perspective shift that people-pleasing can actually be very manipulative. And it can be very manipulative because even though we may have great intentions behind people-pleasing, and it's a trauma response for some, when we are people-pleasing, we're really hiding our true feelings, we're hiding our true emotions, we're altering our opinion, and we're doing that in order to kind of control the outcome of a situation or to control someone else's perception of us. And that, in essence, is very, very manipulative. And when I had that perspective, it became so much easier for me to be honest about who I was, what I thought, what I felt. And again, when we're living in alignment to who we really are, it becomes so much easier to be energized and to feel just authentic within ourselves. Okay, up next, we have poor time management. Now, I know time management is a huge topic for very good reason, and that is because time is a non-renewable resource. So once we spend it, we literally cannot get it back. So it's so important that we learn how to manage it properly. So these are a couple of kind of time management styles that I've seen time and time again. We have time martyr, which is when you prioritize other people ahead of yourself. Procrastinator, you avoid finishing or starting certain activities and tasks. Easily distracted, you may have the best intentions in the world, but you just get distracted very easily. Perfectionism, so you will work so hard on something to the detriment of maybe missing deadlines and handing things in super late. Now, there are 5 key skills I personally believe that are really needed if we're going to kind of become masters at managing our time. Now would also be maybe a good time to take a screenshot of these. We really want to up our skills on planning, decision-making and prioritizing, learning how to set those boundaries and saying no when necessary, delegating and outsourcing tasks, and above all, finding a time management style that works specifically for you and you following it. Now, these are 4 time management techniques that I personally believe really harness and help you develop all of those skills that we just spoke about. So we have time blocking, which is essentially when you kind of carve chunks out of your day. So time blocks like 9 to 10, 12 to 1, and you assign different activities and tasks to those time blocks. And once it finishes, you move on to the next. Then we have Eat the Frog, which is really you just doing your most difficult task first thing in the day. Pomodoro technique is when you set a timer on for about 25 minutes, 30, 40 minutes. You do your activity, you do your task, but then you take a 5-minute break and you repeat that cycle. Then the Eisenhower matrix. This is a really, really great one for learning how to prioritize and delegate. It's essentially a quadrant of assigning things in terms of not important, important, urgent, not urgent. Now we are on to the really fun part, which is the emotional energy givers. So these are the 4 key things that I have seen time and time again that has such a huge positive influence on raising our emotional energy. Connecting to your why, living in harmony with your values, getting into a state of flow, and making self-care a priority. So up first is your why. If I told you to do 10 burpees now, you'd probably tell me no. But if I told you I'll give you $500 and you can do 10 burpees for me, I'm sure that you would find the energy to do that. And I'm sure you would. And that's because there's a clear why to you doing those burpees. So when we're trying something new, or if we've maybe hit a bump in the road, it's so important that we become connected to a much bigger vision and bigger intention of what it is that we're trying to achieve. So let's say you want to create a business and you want to maybe, earn $10,000 a month. That's great and that's specific, but having a really good reason as to why you want that $10,000 a month and you want that business is going to help you create the energy and the momentum needed when things get tough, as they inevitably will. But this is because our why is connected to the limbic system. So it's the part of our brain that's responsible for making decisions, our behavior, and our feelings. And quite often, our behavior will stem from our feelings. So if we can have a really, really strong and meaningful kind of intention behind what it is that we're trying to do, the chances of us sticking with that are going to be so much higher. Up next is values. So when we're living in alignment with values that are very important to us, we're really living in alignment with our truest self. So I want you to think about what are some factors in your life that have led you to maybe become out of alignment with what's most important to you. And then I'd like you to think about what can you do differently day to day to bring those activities into alignment with your core values. What I mean by that is, let's say, for example, relationships is a huge value for you. How can you bring that core value into your everyday life? Does that maybe look like scheduling a call with a friend every Sunday? Does that look like making sure that you meet up with your family members every Thursday night for dinner? What does it look like for you, and what's going to be sustainable for you? Okay, prioritizing self-care. Now, before going into coaching and the world of self-development, I did not realize how nuanced self-care actually is. There's lots of different types of self-care, and today specifically, we're going to be looking at physical self-care, emotional, social, mental, and spiritual self-care. Now, I know Tamara is really going to get into the physical side of the self-care and taking care of yourself in that way. But I want you to just start thinking, are you getting enough restorative sleep? Is your main diet made of wholesome foods? Do you feel as though you're moving your body enough and you're getting adequate exercise? And then social care. Don't worry, introverts. This is for introverts and extroverts. Ultimately, your self-care really needs to be unique to you. So for you personally, thinking about your needs, your personality, do you personally feel that you're getting enough face-to-face time with your friends and your loved ones? What are you doing to actually nurture your relationships with your friends and your family and your loved ones? When it comes to your mental self-care, are you making enough time for activities that actually mentally stimulate you? And are you doing proactive things that can help you stay mentally healthy? And spiritual self-care, I know this is a very personal one, and it doesn't matter if, your beliefs are in a higher power or if it's in a particular religion. But I want you to start asking yourself, am I reflecting on my life and my personal experiences? And am I engaging in practices that I personally find fulfilling? So whether that's meditation, whether that's a yoga practice, whether that's going to church, whether that's listening to gospel music, whether that's listening to Enya and dancing in the rain, it needs to be personal to you and you need to find it fulfilling. Then emotional self-care. Do you have healthy ways that you can process your emotions? And do you incorporate activities into your life that really help you feel recharged? And last, but certainly not least, we have state of flow. So this was popularized by positive psychologists. I'm not going to pronounce the name because I know I'll butcher it. But it's really a state you can find yourself in where you just become so immersed and at one with the activity that you're doing. A lot of people have described it as, in the zone, but it's really when there's just this beautiful synchronicity with you and that activity, and you lose complete track of time. I know that so many of you have probably experienced that before, and that is actually the flow state that you achieved. So as you can see from this graph here, your skill level needs to be fairly high, and the challenge level also needs to be fairly high. You kind of want to hit that sweet spot of being fairly good at something and being fairly challenged by it to kind of hit that in the zone flow state. So I can give you an example. A few years ago, I decided to redo my office, and I have had some experience of painting rooms, but I'm definitely not an expert. But I took a long weekend and I painted my office and I redid it, and I completely lost track of time. I was so happy. I was so fulfilled. I was so lost in what I was doing. And that's because I enjoyed it. I was fairly decent at it, but I was also fairly challenged by it. So here's another maybe opportune moment to take a screenshot. This is a couple of, conditions needed in order to achieve that flow state. So you need to care about the task at hand, and it has to be neither too easy or too difficult. And ideally, it should be something that you're good at or that you like. But above all, your mindset around what it is that you're doing needs to be focused on the journey, not the destination and the outcome. So I really, really hope that you enjoyed that. I'm going to hand you over to the fabulous Dr. Tamara Whiston. She's going to take it away. Thank you so much for listening to me today. Now, Dr. Tamara is going to take it away. I am so excited for you to learn and hear what she has to say. Tamara, it's all yours.
Ciara, thank you so much for that amazing introduction and for inviting me to be a part of this masterclass on elevating your energy. And I loved what you said about the spiritual, emotional, and mental energy. And you'll see it ties into what I have to say today as well. Whether you're suffering from a chronic illness or not, your energy levels determine what you are able to do and how you ultimately react to and interact with your environment. Dr. Mark Hyman said, "Energy is the ultimate currency. What can you do without money? It's the same with energy. What can you do without energy?" So I'm sure by now you have a great understanding of your emotional energy, but what about your physical energy? What is physical energy? We make physical energy when we eat food and our bodies magically transform the chemical energy stored in the food into electrical energy, which the body can use to perform all of its functions. Energy is one of the products when the body metabolizes carbohydrates or fat. It is produced in the mitochondria of the cells in the body. This process is called respiration, and it is most efficient when it uses oxygen, but it is also possible without oxygen. Fatigue and low energy are at an all-time high. We have a serious energy crisis in the US, UK, and Caribbean, and much of it has to do with our digestive tract. When we have poor digestion, we assimilate less nutrients and accumulate more toxins. This process increases inflammation throughout our body and drains our energy reserves. You may not have realized that behaviors such as not sleeping well and poor eating are habits that actually deplete us of our physical energy. The formula for creating and sustaining a healthy human, is quite simple. It just requires removing the bad stuff and putting in the good stuff. When we don't sleep or don't sleep well, our bodies can't regenerate and take out bad cells or recondition our bodies, and we lose resilience. When we eat a poor diet, for example, the SAD diet, the standard American diet, which is industrial, hyper processed, hyper palatable, salt, sugar, and fat laden food like substances, that robs us of our energy. Toxins, the ubiquitous chemicals and metals found in our food, water, air, household cleaners, and even makeup and skincare products now are also culprits. Chronic stress, both psychological and physical, allergies, including food sensitivities to things such as gluten and dairy, microbes in the gut, so imbalances or dysbiosis in the 100 trillion bugs in our gut, can all rob us of our energy. Mm. Okay. Our culture actually views alcohol as something that can help us relax after a busy day or fall asleep easier. That's not the case, though. Sure, you may feel more relaxed after a glass of drink in the evening, but it's not actually beneficial for your overall energy. Drinking alcohol may compromise your quality of sleep. You may experience more interrupted sleep, end up sleeping for a shorter period of time, or simply don't experience restful sleep. Alcohol can also deplete your vitamin B's, CoQ10, magnesium, potassium, zinc, and glutathione levels that are all essential for your healthy energy levels. Excessive caffeine. If you consume caffeine in moderation, coffee may be good for you. Some studies have found that coffee may have neurological benefits and may help to prevent dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's disease. However, drinking an excessive amount of caffeine or drinking caffeine if your body is sensitive to it can deplete your energy. Can also deplete certain vitamins and minerals, which can be further problematic if your diet is already compromised. You can also find caffeine in things like green or black tea and caffeinated drinks that have mate in them. Okay. Sugar and refined carbs. When it comes to food, sugar and refined carbohydrates are the number one culprits that may rob your energy. Processed grains that can be found in white pasta, white bread, and white rice have little nutritional value because they have been ripped from their fiber containing outer layer called bran during processing. They digest quicker than whole grains. This leads to a very quick rise in blood sugar and insulin, followed by a sugar crash and a serious drop in energy, the opposite of what you were trying to achieve. Medications. If you feel low energy or fatigue on a regular basis, it's important to look at the list of medications you may be taking. Certain medications can cause drowsiness, low energy, or fatigue as a side effect. They may also deplete your vitamin B, zinc, magnesium, CoQ10, and other nutrient levels. A sedentary lifestyle. The fact that being sedentary may rob your energy may surprise you. Shouldn't exercise be energy robbing and not exercising promoting rest? Over exercising and overtraining can certainly rob your energy. However, not exercising and being sedentary can fatigue you in a different way. Not moving your body enough may lead to poor circulation and may result in fatigue. To keep your energy levels at a healthy state, make sure to exercise regularly without overtraining your body. Excessive stress. Excessive or chronic stress can be detrimental to your health and quickly drain your energy levels. When you're under excessive stress, your body feels like a bear is chasing you all day and all night long, whether that's a hard day at work or an actual bear. It increases your cortisol levels, which results in depleted cortisol storage, more anxiety, and low energy. Excessive stress can also deplete your body from vitamin C and 13 other vitamins, zinc, electrolytes, and other essential nutrients. Dehydration. The truth is that most people don't drink enough water. Instead, they rely on coffee, tea, soda, sugary drinks, and energy drinks. The problem is that coffee, sugary drinks, and alcohol, instead of providing hydration, can actually dehydrate your body. For proper hydration, you need plenty of water. Water helps your body to flush out toxins, hydrate your tissues, aid your immune system, and support your energy. This means that you have to work harder to take away that if you're dehydrated, your body can't pump enough blood to your brain and your heart. And this means that you have to work harder, which takes away your energy. To keep your energy levels up, you need to drink at least 8 to 10 glasses of clean, purified water a day. Add some green juices or herbal teas as a bonus, and eat hydrating vegetables for extra minerals and vitamins. And this last one you may not be so familiar with, but low stomach acid levels. Eating a healthy diet and absorbing the nutrients in your food is essential for healthy energy levels. However, when your gut is compromised, it may also rob you of energy. This is how the low stomach acid levels come into the picture. Low stomach acid may lead to an array of gut health issues, including acid reflux, belching, bloating, gut bacteria overgrowth, pain, and overall poor digestion. Having low stomach acid levels can lead to poor absorption of iron, vitamin B12, zinc, and dietary protein necessary for healthy energy levels. So, how do we fix this? 3 quick fixes that you can take away today. Super hydrate. Use lemon or lime or apple cider vinegar and use caffeine responsibly. Consuming plenty of clean water, and by that I mean filtered water, that not just Brita filter, but I'll go into that a little bit later, with electrolytes is key to optimizing the flow of electricity throughout the body. The brain and the nervous system require adequate water and electrolytes in order to conduct impulses throughout the nervous system. We need between 2 to 3 liters of water per day based on our body weight. If you want to perform at an optimal level on a daily basis, you need to ensure your body is adequately eliminating built up toxins. By starting the day off with super hydration, you go a long way in assisting this process and boosting energy levels naturally. Some of the dangerous chemicals that can be found in non filtered water include arsenic, aluminum, fluoride, chlorine, and even more things. So you need to drink reverse osmosis or distilled water. When you squeeze fresh lemon or lime or a little bit of apple cider vinegar to your water, it's an excellent strategy to boost energy levels. These organic acids, well, rather, the organic acids contained within those compounds, help to balance the gut microbiome, so the bacteria in the gut, stabilize blood sugar, and rebalance calcium levels in the body. Lemon is also a great source of vitamin C and antioxidant bioflavonoids that help improve capillary permeability and improve the oxygenation of tissues. So, you always should have some fresh squeezed lemon or lime, and it's good to stock the juice in your fridge the organic juice. if you can. And when shopping for apple cider vinegar, it's important to look for one that's raw and has the mother within it. The mother is the fermenting colony of microbes that create the acetic acid and is a sign of a higher quality vinegar that isn't highly processed, for example, Braggs. Here are three tips to use this to your here are three tips to use these. You can add them all to your meals. You can have them before you have your meal in a little water. And you can use them as a meat marinade to incorporate them. And they help to start the digestive process off. And it takes some of the pressure off of your gut, which is very helpful for you to digest and really assimilate the nutrients that are in your food. May find this one a little confusing, but for that extra boost, you may need to use caffeine. Caffeine is by far the most common strategy people use in order to boost energy quickly. This isn't necessarily bad as long as you're in good health and are not sensitive to caffeine. 1 to 2 cups per day is a responsible amount. How else can you boost your energy levels? So let's talk about prioritizing good sleeping habits. So, good sleeping habits means a regular bedtime, having a dark room, um, removing the Wi-Fi from your bedroom and any maybe your cell phone as well. Don't sleep with it next to your head. Um, and just making sure you give yourself this opportunity to have a period of time where you can actually sleep and not be distracted by your pets or the TV or even your spouse. The next thing we want to do is focus on gratitude and prayer to really elevate our energy levels. It's important to be grateful for the things that we have and focus on that instead of things that we think are missing or don't have in our lives. And that prayer, that kind of spiritual relationship with the higher being is very important to being fulfilled and to replenishing the energy that we need. Optimizing hydration, well, we touched on that already, 2 to 3 liters per day, and that's of water, such an easy target to make. And it doesn't mean that you try to drink all of these at 8 p.m., realizing that, oh, you haven't had any water for the day, but rather to go consistently throughout the day, just keeping a glass next to you as you work or a bottle of water and sipping as the day goes on. You want to get moving early and often. So that's like short bursts. So maybe a little walk for 10 minutes, or maybe you decided to do some sit ups or jumping jacks every couple of hours, just to keep that blood flowing and to keep your energy level up. You do want to get some sun exposure very early and often. Early because that's when the sun is out, and often because we need it to stimulate the skin, to produce vitamin D, which is a very important hormone in the body, important for immunity and to help us be very healthy. We want to breathe clean air deeply. What do I mean by clean air? So, definitely, again, we need an air filter to take out these car exhaust fumes that have a lot of toxic things, other pollutants in the atmosphere. And we really want to breathe deeply into the lungs, not just these shallow breaths that signal to the body that we're in fight or flight. Wait, right? Follow an anti inflammatory nutrition plan. So, what does that mean? We really need whole, fresh, simple food. So, I'm talking about organic, local, seasonal, heirloom, grass fed vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, beans, whole grains, eggs, olive oil, non factory farmed animal products, and sustainably raised or harvested seafood. So important to keeping your energy levels up. Using specific supplements. Well, for this, you may want to work with a practitioner to help guide you. Relaxation. And this is not the relaxation we alluded to earlier, sitting on the couch with a glass of wine, but rather a deep, profound relaxation that occurs through meditation, deep breathing, or yoga, making love, being in the rapture of dance or music or prayer. And this type of relaxation takes a lot of intention and a surprising amount of work. You just try to shut your mind down or do nothing for 5 minutes. It's not as easy as it seems, but it's central to our body's healing system. Love and connection. The need for human connection, touch, and love is one of our most profound needs. When you deprive animals of maternal affection, they become sick and their neural networks don't develop normally. In little children, we call it failure to thrive, and it often results from the simple loss of human connection, otherwise known as neglect. The highest expression of who we are is love. So, what can we do? Meaning and purpose. So, the happiest man is one who makes others happy. Making a difference, connecting to a larger purpose, living your life on purpose is a powerful driver of happiness and well being. Cultivating acts of service, acts of contribution, of making the world a better place is profoundly healing for the giver and the receiver. Try making everyone you meet today smile, feel loved, and attended to as if they were the most important person in the world. See how much better that would make you feel. These are all things that I'm sure we already know and we may have just taken for granted. But if we were to focus on them, we will see long lasting results on elevating our energy levels. Thank you so much, Kiro.
You are so welcome, Dr. Tamara. And just for everyone watching, this is Dr. Tamara's information. So please take it down. It has her website, email, and Instagram. As mentioned before, Dr. Tamara works with a lot of her patients online. So if you are interested in working with her, please do get in touch. And also a reminder for me, I do have one-on-one coaching spots available. All of my consultations are free. You can go to my website, coachingwithkira.com, and you can find out some more information there. I also have a lot of free resources that you might find useful. So please do take a look. And we both just want to thank you so, so much. We're so grateful that you decided to download this masterclass, and well done for making it to the end. I really hope that you learned a lot about your emotional and physical energy. And we're just so happy to have had you. So have a wonderful day. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you, guys.